At the conclusion of the Pledge of Allegiance, I'm going to ask that everyone remain standing for a moment of silence, reflect the tragic fire just earlier today that took the lives of 2 people here in Clearfield. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all. We're going to begin today's meeting with a statement some of you may have seen. It was released later yesterday. We understand there's been some confusion over our change to the predetermined ratio. For decades, your tax had been based on a 25% of the assessed value. We changed that to 50%, but at the same time reduced the millage by 50% as well. The net effect was no change to the tax owed by any county resident or to the assessed value of any property. Why did we take this action? Many municipalities were at or near the 25 mil cap established by state law. Over time, it is inevitable that costs rise, revenue needs to rise as well. This was done to give future boards and municipalities room to maneuver. We would also note that 67 counties in Pennsylvania, 66 of them are at the 50% or 100% PDR ratio. Shortly after that, in a separate action, in order to balance the county budget, we voted to enact a 1 mil tax increase for 2025. Both of these votes were made publicly, were covered by the press, and are available to view on our YouTube channel, as all meetings are live streamed. We hope this clears up any confusion about the tax situation. We thank all county residents for their interest and attention to this matter. Moving on to the agenda, we now move to the approval of minutes from the January 14th, 2025 meeting.
Move to approve the minutes.
Second.
Properly moved in second. All those in favor? Aye. Now we will move on to the approval of the bills. Controller Edwards.
Alrighty, general fund, $818,075.20. Liquid fuels fund, $40,087.90. 911, $10,535. CDBG, $40,499.36. Domestic relations, $4,020.86. And children and youth, $126,062.22. For a grand total of $1,039,280.54.
A motion to approve the bills as presented by Controller Edwards.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Mr. Edwards. Moving on to personnel issues. Personnel changes include 2 new hires of a corrections officer at the jail effective 1/23/25, and a part-time DC2 effective 1/27/25. Separations, Director of Elections effective 1/17/2025, and CYS caseworker effective 2/3/2025. No transfers, no FMLA or leave of absence request. A motion to approve personnel changes.
So moved.
Second.
Properly moved in second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. We'll now move on to public comment. Public comment will consist of a 3-minute comment period. We ask everyone to identify themselves before making a comment. Please conduct yourself with the proper decorum. This is being live streamed, so you are visible throughout the old interwebs. And once again, there will be a 3-minute time limit. Mr. Glass will be keeping time. Whoever would like to go first, identify yourself.
Rob Fitzmaurice, Lawrence Township. Last year, you raised the percentage of home values subject to taxes from 25% to 100%. You received many complaints, letters to the editors, etc., and you reversed your decision. You did the will of the people. You did the job which I believe is to make this county as nice a place to live in as you can. I applaud you. This year you raised the percentage from 25 to 50%. Not the will of the people. Working people and retired people are beset with higher prices that their income has not matched. You are now allowing taxes to be potentially doubled over the next few years. We have had to adjust to make do with what we have. Taxing identities should do the same. If they have to raise taxes and they are at their limit, let them go to court. At least that we would have another voice in our side. Last year, you did what the people wanted. You voted in, and then we voted you in, and we paid your salaries. We would like you to reverse your decision and put the percentage back to 25%, because that's what the people wanted last year. That's what the people told you. Thank you, and I appreciate you for listening.
Rick Mattern. Good morning. I made a couple notes. Hey, first I'd like to say that last night's tragedy provides some perspective to the nature of our fleeting existence. The loss to our community is profound. My and my family's hearts break for their family, friends, and for Clearfield. What I have to say otherwise seems trifling and pales in comparison, but we must endure. So I came to let the commission know that I was severely disappointed when I witnessed an interview on television recently regarding the closure of the Lock Haven University Clearfield Commonwealth campus and the seeming resignation and complete surrender of the commission regarding that closure. I didn't hear anybody mention any fighting words or who we were partnering with at the state level. It's a Commonwealth University funded by the state. We have Armanini, we have Langerholk, we have Kephart, and I didn't hear any mention of coordinating any sort of resistance to the closure of that campus in that interview. It was just a powerlessness that pervaded what I saw. And it upset me because we apparently have 2 years to fight about it, and I think we should. And I would like the commission to engage in that fight. From what I can tell, they've kept very good track of their losses over the past 5 years without seemingly having made any changes to manifest something other than a loss. So perhaps new programs, new management, something, anything. But advertising even, I'm sure there's a lot of people in Pennsylvania who don't realize the campus is even there because you don't really hear about it outside of Clearfield. But that's the majority of what I have to say. And I also was concerned about the tax increase. It seems convoluted and somewhat surreptitious, and I just wonder if there isn't a better way to go about changes that are necessary otherwise that don't seem as suspicious. Because to raise, double the assessment value and then cut the percentage of that percentage is sort of peculiar. That's all I have to say. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you for representing us.
Thank you.
John D'Antonio. Again, prayers to the victims and gratitude to the first responders. And the community actually came together immediately and started drives to help these people. And that's the way government, self-governance should work. But what we're faced with, and I'm not going to repeat what everybody else has said, but now with the millage increase and the potential 12.5 millage increase going forward. What you're asking is these people to redo their budget to give money to you. And what I'm asking you to do, and I think what everybody else is probably asking you to do, is why don't you review the budget process? I'm not sure exactly how it works, but I would assume that the departments take last year's money, add to it, present it as a budget. What I'm saying is take last year's budget, cut it by 5%, hand it back to them and say, make do with it. It's logical, because that's what you're asking everybody else to do. And the Founding Fathers never intended for this country to have a government that was everything to everybody. It was limited in scope and what they could do. Also, generational farms, people that bought property, paid off their land, paid off their buildings, now find out that they rent it from the government. That is awful. They never own what they have. The government can come in and take it if they don't pay their taxes. Totally unconstitutional. Thank you for your time.
My name's Tony Yankovich. I'm pretty certain that all of the commissioners here are aware that during the year, I was doing right-to-know requests to get the balances in the county bank accounts, the general fund, the operating reserve fund, and the other funds, major funds. It's not a question of changing the assessment ratio. Was the 1 mil tax increase justified? And I'm going to go on public record and make the statement that that 1 mil tax increase was completely unjustified and cannot, and is not warranted. At the end of 2024, December 31st, the county was sitting on almost 6.4 million in the general fund bank accounts. There was 6.4 million in the operating reserve fund. That's just two of the categories. But in domestic relations, there was almost 1.4 million. There was over $1 million in the children and youth bank account. The 911 account had over $1 million. And I was watching the 14th streaming of the commissioners meeting, and during the approval of the bills, there was 900,000 or close to that approval for the 911 fund, and the controller made the comment that that was a reimbursement to the general fund for the expenses that were paid out of the general fund during the year. The budget process that's been going on for 30 years since I was a commissioner is seriously flawed. Every year a budget's put together, the taxpayers have no transparency. There was no mention whatsoever in the budget process what were the actual results for 2023 and 2024. We have no idea. None of these people here today know whether the revenues were over the expenditures that were budgeted, but I can say this, for the last 5 years, every year, the revenues have been in excess of the expenditures, on an average of 2.5 million. In budgeting, if you have money at the end of a current fiscal year, when you prepare a new budget, that money acts as a carryover into the new budget year towards those expenditures that are budgeted for 2025.
His time is up, Mr.
Your
Chair.
time's up, Mr. Yankovic.
Really, you're gonna cut me off.
We maintain 3 minutes for everyone, equally.
Yeah, you can have mine.
That is not how this works, folks.
No, that's, everybody has their own 3 minutes. Thank you very much.
Wow.
If you want to hear the rest of it, we're gonna have a meeting, Tony will be speaking.
The commissioners need to reconsider and rescind the 1 mil tax increase. You have until February the 15th, and I guarantee you that this issue.
Your time is up,
This
Mr.
issue is
Yankovic.
going to come back during the next.
Your time is up, sir.
Reelection.
We didn't like the United States Congress or something. You know, it sounds like what they do. Your time's up, you gotta leave.
I was stated clearly at the beginning of, step up, sir.
My name's Doug Livergood, okay? We pay taxes. What do we have to show for our taxes?
Yeah.
The hospital ain't here anymore. They shut down the university. We have dirt roads we drive our cars on, and we don't even have internet. I brought that up one time on Facebook. But then I seen Josh Shapiro down in Johnstown with a bag full of money, giving Johnstown a bunch of money for internet. We don't have it. I have to use Starlink. You know how much that cost? It ain't cheap. It's very, very shameful what you people do.
Jay Fannin. That really wasn't right what you just did to Mr. Yankovic, even though you have a 3-minute limit. He was a former county commissioner that knows what goes on. And I've seen the smoke and mirrors with budgets. I worked for the school district. A couple of you fellows were board members. I know what goes on. And the gentleman that spoke, Mr. Mattern, a couple of the other ones that talked, they told you, you know, like it is. I'm not, I had something here to read, but my wife rewrote it for me because she didn't think it was very nice, so. But I really don't think you should shut Mr. Yankovic off because he's calling a spade a spade. Thank you.
I'm Sherry Sirkovich, and I know you are saying about the 1%, but with what you had just recently done, it's going to be equaling out to 2% of what we had been paying, which only means as you continue to increase the millage, yes, at what point are we going to be going back up to where we're going to be paying 50%? And can I ask on that assessment, now, is that also affecting our other taxes, the township taxes, the school taxes? What are they going to be using to charge us there? Will this re-evaluation of our assessment percentage also then affect those as well?
This will affect other taxing bodies, correct?
So they can go ahead, so when they have whatever their millage is currently will be based on the 50% of our property tax, of our property value.
With the reduction in millage, yes,
So theirs is also all being reduced?
yes.
Okay, so then they can slowly increase as well. And again, every time there is a millage increase, then it's not really, it's going to basically be doubled as pertaining to the dollar amount.
That will be reflected by each individual taxing entity.
But even yourselves. So instead of, if it was like 1% or 1 mil of what we currently had versus it's basically always going to end up being twice as much.
It reflects the new ratio.
Yeah, so it's always going to be twice as much. Okay. Just my clarification.
I'm Jim Kane, I know you three fellas. I'm here as a chaplain of the Clearfield Fire Department. As you mentioned, we had a tragedy last night, we lost 2 young boys in a house fire. planning on getting together today for a prayer at the courthouse at 5 p.m. If you fellows could join us. Thank you for recognizing the family today. And I'd ask you to continue to pray for the mother. She lost her husband 3 years ago to cancer, and now she's lost her 2 boys.
I saw your post. I think that's very
Keep-
appropriate to have.
Thank you, Dave. Keep the Brink family in your prayers, but also pray for the firefighters. It's tough when you take 2 young boys out of a house that died. So just appreciate all your prayers. As far as the tax issue, I'm hearing more to learn than anything. I'm listening to both sides and appreciate what you guys do. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else for public comment? Seeing none, any old business to come before the commissioners today? Also seeing none on the agenda, we'll move on to new business. We'll proclaim February 7th through the 14th as National Marriage Week, and we have Leanne Hutton here with us
Actually,
today.
Leanne couldn't be here, so we have
We have a substitute,
2.
2 substitutes.
Everyone's like angry at me, yeah, you know. We're with Children's Aid Society. Sorry, were you done?
Yes, if you could please introduce
Okay.
yourselves.
We're with Children's Aid Society's Together Project. I'm Haley Campbell,
I'm Zachary Bainey.
and like I said, we work in the Together Project, so we are funded by a grant. We offer free relationship education services to, right now, just couples. You guys are angry and making me hot. We offer free relationship education classes, and they're either virtual or in person. And if you guys are interested, or you know anyone interested, or you know, or in a relationship or married, you just call us and inquire, and we get you set up, and then you just attend the classes. You receive free incentives, and we are just trying to foster that healthy marriage and family relationship lifestyle. Is all.
Well, thank you, and I will read the following proclamation into the record, and then it will be signed. We'll get a picture with you guys then. Whereas marriage binds couples together and is the outward visible sign of a couple's desire to create a lasting life, provides support necessary for the growth of healthy children, a healthy family, and whereas specific evidence confirms the best environment for children to flourish is being raised by parents in a healthy marriage rather than unhealthy marriages or by single or cohabitating parents. These children demonstrate less behavioral problems in school, less likely to be a victim of abuse, less likely to abuse drugs or alcohol, less likely to commit delinquent behaviors, have a better relationship with their mothers and fathers, are less likely to become pregnant as a teenager or impregnate someone else, and have a decreased chance of divorcing when they get married and less likely to be raised in poverty. Therefore, it be resolved by the Commissioners of Clearfield County, in consideration of all these important values for our community, we do proclaim February 7th through February 14th, 2025 as National Marriage Week in the County of Clearfield.
Would you like a motion?
I would like a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and second. All in favor of this proclamation?
Aye.
Aye. And the proclamation is complete. Thank you for coming in today.
Thank you for having us.
Jeff, do you have a camera?
I do.
Okay.
Do you want to do it now? Wait till the after the meeting, or you want to do it now?
What do you guys want to do?
Let's do it now. They may have, if you guys want to get back to your respective.
Sam, you're gonna come out.
Sam, you're.
We'll get Sam front and center there. Come on in here.
Haley, do you or Ryan have a camera so you can put one on the website, on their Facebook page?
I'll take your picture.
Okay, okay, perfect.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
very much.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Thanks for coming. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Moving on to the next agenda item under new business. Consider approval for PennDOT to advertise and select a bridge inspection consultant on the county's behalf. Is this something we do?
I believe it's every 6 years.
Yeah,
Our
this I knew
contract
that-
runs with them, and we're coming up on that, and that is something PennDOT takes care of and advertises on behalf of the county.
Do I have a motion for a new bridge inspection consultant agreement?
I will make a motion that we advertise selected bridge inspection consultant for Clearfield County.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
How many bridges do we own exactly?
Too
13?
many.
10?
9 or 10.
Yeah.
9 or 10, we do have bridges available. Announce the relocation of the Sandy Treasure Lake polling location from the Treasure Lake Church to the Lakeview Lodge. There are several factors come into play here, one being accessibility, one being that there is indeed a daycare located inside the Treasure Lake Church. It will be a better location, I believe, for everyone in the Treasure Lake area. Move to the more central and accessible Lakeview Lodge. Do I have a motion?
Well,
I think we're just announcing.
I think we're
today.
announcing it because we need, that's a motion for election board.
Okay, so let's
But-
go to election board, but that
Yeah.
is the announcement and the reasoning behind the
Yeah,
moving.
And I just want to thank Treasure Lake for working with us on this. I mean, we were everybody was kind of hit kind of quickly with this, and Treasure Lake moved very quickly to offer Lakeview, and we did a site survey, and it's going to be just fine.
So a particular thanks to Ed Clark, manager of Treasure Lake.
And it was really important to us, I believe, to keep that precinct inside Treasure Lake for those residents, and we're very few options, to be
Yeah,
honest
with
with
the
you. So I'm glad this
population,
worked out.
with the population concentration there, we did want to stay within the lake proper. So, okay, we'll just consider that an announcement, and will be acted on by the Board of Elections.
There are a little over 3,300 voters currently in Treasure Lake.
Yeah. Far and away our biggest precinct.
Any other new business to come before the commissioners?
Please.
Yes.
I'm Joliet Foster, I'm the Executive Officer for the Lakeland Social Services. And there's an organization or coalition in Clearfield County. It's actually a combination of Clearfield Jefferson that many of the local nonprofit organizations work together. It's called Spark. They work together to do benefits of the community, such as taking the surveys that they do with the high school students with the pays, coming up with the delinquencies of what is perceived to be the most concerning issues within the communities. We work together to try to do projects to bring visibility to the community that way. One of the things they do, the Youth Summit, where we invite all the school districts, bring in a speaker, motivational speaker, whatnot, and speak with the students on what they're perceiving is in the community. The other one is a Teen Trends, where we have typically it's in the month of June, they do an event that is geared towards to give back 48 credits to staff to get their continuing education on the teen trends, typically, like vaping and the things that they're seeing that the students are doing within the school districts, and making sure that our educators have it. That's the two main things that Sparks does. The other additional things we're looking at trying to get more into the school districts to do more hands-on with the children this year, resources and funding. Currently, Sinclair is the administrative agent for this money that the county has provided to us. Sinclair has opted to remove from being the administrator of the League on Social Services in order to keep the organization going, has offered to be the administrator of this and continue to have a mobilizer for Communities of Care project under the Spark guidance. So that is what we're here to present today.
Okay, well, Julie, we thank you, and we thank the League on Social Services for stepping up to take over the administration of these funds that were previously done by Sinclair, and we wish you luck with everything that the Spark program entails. Thank you for coming and letting us know that. A valuable service to the members of the community.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Really, really glad you stepped up.
Yeah, did we execute the documentation?
We haven't yet.
Well,
We can anyway.
I think we'll put it on the next one. 'cause
All right,
we-
yeah, because.
It's not on this one, I was gonna say, we
Okay.
did
No.
have an agreement with
Yes.
Sinclair, so
Yes.
we'll obviously have
This-
to update that.
This will require legal review and a formal execution, but
We will absolutely make sure this gets on the agenda,
Yeah.
but we're glad that you came to announce
Yeah,
it.
thank you. I know
Yes.
I'd seen some paperwork. And that's
no,
what I was-
thank you.
They were.
Okay, moving on, solicitors report.
We have nothing additional this morning.
Nothing additional from Solicitor Bozovich. Anything else for the good of the order? I will entertain a motion to adjourn at 11 a.m.
So moved.
Second.
Moved in second. All those in favor?
Aye.